Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're looking at one of the most, I think, critical transformations in ancient leadership.
It's a really fascinating story.
We're talking about Israel's first king, Saul, and how he went from being this ridiculed, unrecognized farmer.
To a leader who united a nation seemingly overnight. And the flashpoint for all of it was the crisis at Jabesh Gilead.
So let's start there. What was his status right after being anointed king?
Well, it was incredibly low. The sources are pretty clear that he was immediately rejected by what the text calls worthless men.
Worthless men.
Yeah, the Hebrew is Belial, which means something like no value or no benefit. They're basically asking, how is this guy going to save us?
So he's dismissed right out of the gate.
Yeah.
And he has no real power to push back.
None. No palace, no standing army, no infrastructure at all, which is what makes the next part so powerful.
Okay, so paint the picture for us. When the emergency messengers arrive, where do they find this new king?
They find him in a field. I mean, literally, the source says he's just coming back from plowing, driving his oxen.
So he's still just a civilian, really.
He absolutely is. And, the archaeology backs this up beautifully.
Had his home base in Gibeah.
Exactly. The excavations at Tel El-Ful, which is identified as Gibeah, found his residence was a modest fortress, a watchtower, really, not a palace.
And what about the other finds?
Well, that's the real insight. They found things like millstones and plowshares, agricultural tools. It confirms he wasn't just, a king with a farming hobby. Farming was his job.
So this farmer king is then faced with this absolutely horrifying threat.
Nahash the Ammonite. He besieges the town of Jabesh Gilead.
And the people there offer to surrender to serve him.
They do. But his condition is just. It's designed for maximum humiliation. He demands to gouge out the right eye of every single resident.
The right eye. Why specifically the right eye?
Because for a warrior back then, the right eye was crucial for fighting, for aiming a spear, for using a shield effectively.
So it's not just an injury, it's a permanent disarmament.
It's a permanent reproach against all of Israel. It's a message that they're completely defenseless, not even worth saving. That's why the people were just weeping.
So the messengers bring this news back to Gibeah, to Saul. What happens? How does this ridiculed farmer suddenly command an army?
Well, the text says the Spirit of God rushes upon him, and he ignites with rage. He doesn't hold a council or debate strategy. He acts.
And his action is shocking.
It's incredibly shocking. He takes that pair of oxen he's just plowing with, he cuts them into pieces, and he sends the parts throughout all of Israel.
With a message.
A terrifying one. Whoever does not come out to follow Saul and Samuel, so shall his oxen be treated.
It's brutal, but it feels like there's more to it. Why that specific act?
Because it was a deliberate callback. It mirrored an infamous event of national shame that had happened in that very same region, Gibeah.
From the book of Judges.
That's the one, a moment of horrific civil war and fragmentation. So Saul's essentially forcing a choice. He's saying, we can either unite right now or we can go back to that.
He weaponized a symbol of past shame to create immediate unity.
And it worked. It says, the fear of the Lord fell on the people, and they came out as one man.
An instant army. Something like 330,000 men.
And just like that, Gibeah, a place known for shame, becomes the base of salvation for the whole nation. It's an incredible turnaround.
So what we're really seeing here is how an internal transformation, Saul's conviction, takes this huge external threat.
And his own personal weakness, being just a farmer.
And turns it all into this moment of decisive collective action.
Yeah. The very tools of his supposed weakness, the oxen, become the symbol of his power.
Which brings us to our final thought for you to consider. We see how a foundational weakness, or a past shame like Saul's status or Gibeah's history, can become an unexpected catalyst.
It really can. So the question to think about is this. What are the areas of failure or personal weakness that make you feel unqualified?
The things you might see as a liability.
Right. And what if that weakness isn't a liability at all? What if it's the very ground that's waiting to be used as your next base for a profound transformation? Something to think about.